Recording will start soon. Very good. All right. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. Welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast. I'm your host, Adam Bell, and joining me is my co-host, Peter Nikolaidis. How you doing, Peter?
Wunderbar. Except that's not what they say down here.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Where is here?
Estoy excelente, right? Here is Mexico City, Mexico City, Ciudad de Mexico. Yeah. So, yeah, coming to you live. Well, not live to the people watching the recording, but coming to Adam live for once in a blue moon. Well, twice in a blue moon. I guess we're in the same time zone.
Yeah, twice this year.
Twice this year. That's great. My favorite band is performing here in Mexico City. It's their last stop on the North American tour. And my aunt is a flight attendant for Delta, and so she got me relatively cheap standby tickets. And I found an affordable hotel. And I said, why not? So I'm heading to Mexico for the weekend. So here I am.
That looks like a nice hotel room you're in, too.
It's not too shabby. It's an efficiency. It's like a one room everything. But it's got a little kitchenette. Not that I've used it really. And I'm on the 7th floor, so I've got a view of the city. But this morning I got up early and I was like, hey, watch, what time is sunrise? And it's like, oh, it's in 15 minutes. I was like, perfect. So I got up and I went up to the rooftop to watch the sunrise over the city, which is pretty cool. And had a little breakfast, but I decided for the rest of the day, it's all street food all the time.
So being a just brave soul today.
Well, I mean, it's cooked. Yeah. So it's like I was sitting there watching I passed by this guy who's got a little grill and he does street tacos. And I, must have walked by his place a dozen times at this point. And every time I'm walking by, I'm like, I got to stop. And so I decided to go there for, lunch. So for, it's at 50, 10 cents, basically like $1 or 50 cents a piece. I had street tacos. It's like 5 for 50 pesos. So right. 10 pesos a piece and about 20 pesos to a dollar. So for $5 or less than $5, I had delicious tacos. It's amazing. And then this morning I had fresh pineapple, juice drink made right from scratch. And so, I love food, always have, probably always will. But more importantly, I like talking with the people in my subpar Spanish. And, sometimes they're, sometimes passable, sometimes non-existent English. And but it's nice. Everyone's been very patient with me, trying to practice. And the guy who was just made my lunch, I told him, I said, I speak a little Portuguese and it's similar but different. So he was quizzing me. He wanted to know, how do you say, delicious, flavorful, aromatic, how do you say these in Portuguese? I was like, it's mesmo, it's almost identical. It was pretty funny because he's asking me almost every word he asked in Portuguese, what's in Portuguese. I was like, that's the same.
Yeah. So
it was pretty funny. But got here a couple days ago, no issues. So one issue, so my aunt registered me for the flight. I could have done it myself, but she's like, oh, I'll take care of it for you. But she used my German passport. So, because it's, sometimes a little easier for Germans to get places than it is for Americans. Except Germans aren't TSA pre-checked.
No.
So I got the pleasure of taking all my stuff out of my bag and posing for the pervs in the full body scanner. And luckily line was short. Everything worked out just fine. But, for the second time in as many weeks, I had to get up at 3 a.m. Get to the airport. It was a little less stressful than 2 Saturdays ago, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, and then when we got here, I just took the address from the Airbnb and pasted it into Maps. And it wanted to take me to the wrong side of town because Maps, basically looked at it and it got the name of the hotel and it thought that was the street.
Oh.
Luckily, I had a very attentive Uber driver who wanted to triple check the address And we were like halfway there, and he was like, "Oh no, it's wrong. His mom's bad or whatever." So he's like, add a stop. So I added another stop, and it was supposed to be like 300 pesos to get me where I was going. The new destination was only like 280 pesos or something. So it was closer. And so we got there. I gave him 400, which is like, $20 or, not a lot. Right.
Yeah.
And he was over the moon because, I tipped him like 30% and stuff. So I was like, dude, he was looking out for me. He could have taken me to the wrong side of town or,
here you
whatnot.
are. I dropped you off where you said.
Yep. Vaya con Dios. So, I was happy with that. And so that's it. Yesterday I went to the chocolate museum, which was cool.
Mayordomo?
Yeah. I don't know exactly where Mayordomo. It's called Museum de Chocolat, but I don't know where.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a name brand of chocolate, like Nestle or Nest.
Oh no, these are. I think it's mucho chocolate. I think it's much chocolate.
But Mayordomo has a lot of stores.
Yeah. Well, they have a store attached to this museum. Mucho chocolate. Much chocolate. And so that was the brand there. And it was cool. It was a refresher for some things because I did similar things when I went and did the coffee and chocolate tours in Costa Rica a couple years ago. So, but it's like, it's a refresher. And plus you get, the Mexican approach to it. It's like, hey, we invented chocolate, or, we popularized it and stuff. And then, you can buy it in Africa now, but that was basically transplanted. It originated here. And the chocolate that comes from Mexico tends to be better, has less additives, et cetera, and stuff. But I can't argue that it's good. So,
yeah.
So I decided that's what I'm getting for souvenirs for everybody. I'm bringing chocolate home.
Yeah, we've got the stuff for it's essentially hot chocolate. So you boil water and then you mix in the brick of chocolate. You break off a brick. You don't do the whole thing.
Well, it depends how big the brick is.
Yeah.
And how many people.
But it's not as simple as a process like we make hot cocoa now we pour the packet with marshmallows and everything into
Someone's
the hot
been doing
water.
mushroom coffee.
Yeah. Completely ready to go. So it's not completely ready to go, but it's definitely worth doing. It's like we're having people over Friday night. We should make that as a drink.
Special drink, yeah. And so far I haven't had any bad coffee here. Coffee's been good, even though one of the places I went, I opted for the Brazilian brand just because I was a little nostalgic. I got that coffee grinder that you recommended.
All right.
I haven't used it. Of course, I've been here, this is my third day and I haven't actually used it yet though. So I thought about that too. It was like, as I was getting ready to leave, I hadn't packed it and I hadn't packed my AeroPress. And I was like, should I even bother? Because I'm just going to go out and get stuff at coffee shops. And I was like, no, I bought this stupid thing to travel with me. I am bringing it. So I brought it. I got that part done. I haven't actually used it yet though. So.
Well, I got my advertisement in the mail from Yeti. They do a magazine, and they've got like $199 pour over set. Yes.
Well, AeroPress just released their travel grinder.
Oh, really?
It's $200 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I kind of want to get an AeroPress, the new Pro version, like the glass one, because it's gonna, less plastic, right? I think plastic is the new global warming. I think everyone's starting to realize plastic's not good for you.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's still got the plastic plunger that's going in there, so it's not going to be completely plastic free. So I'm like, okay, how much is this going to really make a difference? I don't know. Plus, I think it's like it's 100 and some odd bucks too, or something for that, versus a regular, which is like 30 or 40. So
I just don't like to spend a lot of money on my travel gear. I mean, I just spent $150 on a travel router, but like my coffee cup that I take a coffee cup that I'm not loath to lose, and I've got one of those heaters that I put in the water, a water heater that was $7. So I mean, if something happens and it gets damaged, I'm like, oh, well, I get some more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, not $200 down.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't, the professional AeroPress thing, it's made of glass. I wouldn't be traveling with that. That would be my regular AeroPress would become my travel AeroPress, which it is, because that's what I brought with me.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I just don't know. It's like, I don't know. But wasn't I telling you about that, about being cheap? It's like my threshold is that, if $100 isn't what it used to be right now. So maybe I need to reevaluate that AeroPress. So send me a link to it, would you?
Yeah. Well, so you'd sent me pictures of your tacos from, was that lunch today or yesterday?
That was literally right. I was walking back from it when I texted you and said, "Do you want to record early?" Yep.
Yeah. No, those look really good. What I like, I mean, those are loaded with cilantro and onions. So typically when I get there, I have them like all covered like what you have there. But by the end of the trip, I like to remove a little bit of the cilantro because I'm like, I've had a lot of cilantro.
Well, I will text you. So this is what I had for dinner last night, which was similar. It was, but it's like a little corner restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there last night. It had good reviews on Yelp and Google, and it was just packed, which is always a good sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went there, but their presentation last night was much more, bare bones. Essentially, it's here's the taco, here's the meat on it, here it's on a plate.
Yeah.
And that was it. But then they, have like, 6 different salsas and limes on the table. So today at the street, and the guy asked me, did I want to take it with me or did I want to eat it right there? And I originally said I would take it with me, but he said, it's going to taste better if you eat it right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll stay. And, so he prepared it with the cilantro, with the onions. And then, the limes were sitting next to me and the two different salsas to choose from. They were both good, but if I had to pick one to go back to first, I'm probably just going to hit the guy right on the street corner.
Yeah, between those two, well, that's the one I would like because I like what he put together. It's all there. It's ready to eat.
Exactly.
Put salsa on top.
Yep. And I did actually, I didn't take a picture of it. Well, actually here, yeah. So then after he asked me to, he's like, are you ready to go or, uno más? And I was like, uno más. So I had one more, and that one I sent you the picture with salsa on it. So,
yeah. That's good stuff right there.
But it's really good. It's not, and when people say like, oh, this isn't like Mexican food, I'm like, it's not that different. Really, what we have in the States, it seems pretty close. Although I will say, and it's probably just in my head, possibly just in my head. I think it does taste a little better down here.
Yeah. I mean, I consider it completely different, even though it is because it's. I mean, if I get a chimichanga in Mexico, I know it's going to taste different than my U.S. chimichanga, and I'm expecting it to.
Yep. So, so I'm wondering though, like, what do you think? What's the biggest differentiator when you have like food up there, in Tennessee versus here in Mexico?
I think that they know their audience and they're making food for their audience.
Wait, who up here or down here or up there?
Well, okay. Actually, in both places, because I mean the Mexicans that I stay with, they have a food palette that they like, and they want it that way. And when we give it our way, it's like, oh, that's good, but it's so rich.
Interesting. I mean, and again, so when I think Mexican, I usually try to find places that are not chains. Right. So I don't consider Chipotle Mexican. No. Right. I mean, it's inspired by Mexican stuff, but not a lot Mexican about that. But we've got a couple. There's a little place. It started as a food truck in Medford. It's called Tenoch.
Mm-hmm.
And they a couple years ago, or they spun off another place called El Tacuba,
Mm-hmm.
which is their tapas place.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's pretty good. Definitely more similar to like what I have here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there you're going to trendy, fancy, upscale street food.
Yeah.
So it's like high end, low end Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
And like go there for what I had here for what, $10. Up there would probably be like 40.
Mm-hmm.
So um so yeah, that's kind of like that's a big difference. So price wise, things are a little more affordable down here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I am in a touristy section of town, so things are probably a little pricier too, to reflect
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. One of the things that we like to get, and they make it locally where we go. I mean, I'm sure they make it everywhere. You probably find it in Mexico City. Is the enchiladas from the not enchiladas. Shoot, what are the little things? It's covered in cornbread. It's usually got meat in the center. It's not
Tamales.
Tamales. It was on the so we get tamales, but they make them savory and they
Yep.
make them sweet.
Yes.
And so you can get like a pineapple flavored or strawberry flavored, and they are sweet, but they're not overly sweet. It's like a
Right.
semi sweet tamale.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
those are really good.
In Brazil, they have something similar that's called pamonha,
Yeah.
and they make a savory and a sweet version also.
Mm-hmm.
But they usually the presentation I've had, it's usually it looks more like cornbread. It's just
Yeah.
like sliced up and not like wrapped in the corn or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's
we
funny.
get it,
Go ahead.
we get it wrapped in the corn shell, and it's baked and steamed. I don't know. It's always wet, so I don't know if it's steamed or just baked that way.
Bacon, just pour water on it. Americans like it wet. Just serve it like that. It's funny you mentioned though too, is because for the first two restaurants that I went to, I asked for enchiladas verdes,
Mm-hmm.
and both times I got upsold or cross-sold. And it was so funny because one of them I went to just a little place, little hole in the wall side of the street, and I asked for enchiladas verdes very specifically. But then the waitress asked if I wanted, like something on, on the menu, I guess, which was like the special of the day.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I was like, oh, maybe that's, like I'll take that as an appetizer. So I was like, sure. And I got that. And then at one point she asked, I forget the word, pica something, not pico de gallo. But it's basically translates to like hash, so like
Okay.
ground up chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in my brain, I knew it wasn't the same.
Like that.
I knew it wasn't the same, but my brain was thinking, oh, pico, yes, I want salsa on my enchiladas verdes. So I said yes. I think what she was asking was like, hey, do you want this instead?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I got. So then I went to another place for lunch yesterday, and I asked, enchiladas verdes. Yes, perfect. That's what I want. And she said, you want enchiladas verdes? Flipped over the menu, and it was with the mole sauce instead.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So twice I've tried to order that, and twice I haven't gotten it. So maybe for dinner tonight I will actually have enchiladas for real this time.
Yeah.
So.
I want enchiladas. What you really want is no. I want enchiladas. Okay.
Are you sure? I'm like, why is everybody telling me not to order this?
Yeah. Well, it may be exactly what we like or expect for enchiladas, and the Mexicans are like, "Oh, you can get it, but it's not any good."
Yeah, exactly. That's just.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. This is just like back at home, right?
Yeah.
It reminds me back when I was a kid. What was his name? Not not Kevin Bacon. The guy who looks kind of like Kevin Bacon. Forget his name now. But he was the host of Saturday Night Live. And the whole skit was he wanted to order Superfire hot wings at this place. And everyone, all the wait staff and then the manager, everyone, they keep coming out like, are you sure? They're really hot. And, they keep on, trying to tell him not to get it, not to get it, not to get it. He's like, yes, I want the Superfire hot wing. I know what I'm doing. And finally, they bring it to him. He's like, finally. And he takes a bite and the camera freezes. And it says, like when he bit into it, his complexion immediately turned red. His eyes turned into slot machine tumblers that landed on the symbol for chili peppers.
Yeah.
He ran around screaming out into the parking lot, yelling "woo woo," and then exploded and turned into a rocket and blew up into space. And on an ironic note, the wing that he bit into was just a regular hot wing and not the Superfire hot wing that he ordered. Well, I always think of that when I remember our 400 degrees hot chicken encounter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So,
yeah. I had the baby chicken. You had the hot.
It was pretty good. I had to tell you, some of the salsas that I have at the table yesterday were, they were kicking. I was like, this is pretty good, but nobody like tried to stop me or warned me or anything. And maybe they did, but I don't remember anybody saying like, ese en fuego, caliente, or anything like that. They're just like salsa. I'm like, okay, thank you. And so,
and the green salsa is the hot salsa.
I had that yesterday though, and the green one that I had didn't taste as hot as the other one.
Okay.
So maybe, but maybe it was a slow burn build kind of thing, So.
Yeah. Well, and everybody makes their salsa a little bit different. So, but typically where we end up is, the red's hot and the green is always hotter.
Green means go for hotter.
Go for hotter.
I'm curious, in the areas that you go, what is like normal attire for men out on the street?
So where we go in the rural areas, it's very conservative. So men, all Mexican men wear either like a khaki pants or blue jeans. And like a flannel shirt, a button-up shirt that may be like what you're wearing. Some will wear that. Some will wear a long sleeve flannel shirt. Boys and like more younger, they'll wear t-shirts and then children wear shorts. No men wear shorts, and all women wear longer. More women wear pants than used to, but in the rural areas, everybody's very conservative. But then when we go into the cities, it gets more like our cities of like, wow, those are really short shorts, and those are really,
I haven't seen any of those around here. Everything's been fairly conservative. Lots of skirts and dresses for sure on the women. But the men, it like there's you got your working class guys, blue collar types. They're wearing like sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever. But a lot of the guys walking around in like dress shirts, maybe smart casuals, or maybe jeans, but dress shoes.
Yeah, everybody wears dress shoes unless they're working.
And sport coats, so I was just like, all right. So I brought a couple of button down short sleeve shirts. But just like my regular like sneaker type shoes and a pair of running shoes, obviously. But I'm walking down the street and I'm like, I feel underdressed.
Well, you need to go to the market and find you a guayabara.
Guayabara.
Yeah, it's a type of shirt. It's a kind of a generic name for, it's kind of like Band-Aid is also Band-Aids, but a guayabara. So a lot of there are different shirts there. So it's a pullover with typically a V-neck, not a deep V, but just a V-neck, and then looser in the shoulders and chest. That's one. But then the guayabara, they'll typically have a pattern down the front of them.
Yep, I'm looking at it on Wikipedia right now. In fact,
Yeah. So
I'll
there,
add this to the show notes.
varying degrees of, lots of guayabara. So I have had others in the past. So like I've got a green one with like a horizontal pattern across the chest, and then I've got an off-white one with, it's like a pattern striped down, but it's a pattern built in. But the last one I just bought, it's blue, and it's got kind of like a ridges like that go down, and there's a pattern in there. And it was the most expensive guayabara that I've purchased, but it's a higher quality material, and it was actually a lot cooler, and it held less wrinkles.
When you say most expensive, though, how much are we talking?
I believe it was close to 45 US.
Wow, that is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. But I bought it I was in the market in Oaxaca, and like I said, I've bought other guayabars, but I was like, I want a nice one. I want a dress one. And this one was really nice and dressy.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna look up and see where's the nearest market for me to go check out and see what I can find.
Yeah.
I'm making a note right now. I've just added guayabara into the show notes as well.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What else is going on?
Let's see here. So I have a nifty when we get to that point, but we've been pretty nifty at Mexico. I'm trying to think what else in. What about, so they've just finished the Day of the Dead.
Yep.
So that was last weekend,
Yep.
or the second, because this is the 14th, so 2 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still laying up fireworks?
I haven't seen any fireworks. I saw a couple of signs at so last night I walked out one of the main, definitely felt more touristy frat party areas,
Yeah.
with like bars on either side, loud music blasting, people standing outside saying, come in, come in, come in. That I saw a couple of signs for, Day of the Dead specials still going on.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen any fireworks though. So.
Well, and typically they're not fireworks. They are fire explosions. They go up and make a loud boom, and you would feel them. I mean, you'd feel them even in your room. But if they're
have not had the pleasure.
Well, where we go, there's a lot of celebrations surrounding the Catholic Church, and they do a lot of things. If there's a wedding, if there's a funeral, if there's any sort of party, there's always fireworks.
Right.
Like we've been in places where they're either in a wake for somebody who has died, and one of the things that they do is they'll have a young typically it's a young man, but they'll have a couple young men who are setting off the fireworks, and so they run down the street, boom, boom, big fireworks, and then people walk, and then they just keep doing that ahead of the procession all the way down. And they do that for wakes. They do that for when they're representing a saint, like they'll be walking on celebration of that saint and honoring them. And so lots of fireworks.
I remember, there are a couple, like in Boston, sometimes they'll do fireworks, like, on like a couple of other holidays besides just, Independence Day. But I remember when I was in Brazil, was the first time, like New Year's Eve was fireworks galore. And that was like more impressive than most 4th of July fireworks celebrations that I've seen up in the States. So I remember that was pretty cool too, because that was another thing I spent on a rooftop, so rooftop New Year's Eve fireworks going off all around and stuff. It was pretty slick.
So then, one more thing on food. So one of the things that I get for breakfast, which is
Mhm.
really good. It's eggs, uh, and it's salsa, and it's like in a soup.
Okay.
And it's like in this tomato salsa soup and a
Hmm.
big thing of eggs with onions and spices and everything in it. And it's really good for breakfast. And I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like a huevos and sopa or sopa
Yeah.
or, and you know what chilaquiles are.
So enlighten me, because I think I just learned what that was yesterday.
So chilaquiles is kind of a generic term. It's a soup with tortillas
Okay.
that have been cut up and put into it.
Not the same. Nope. I learned something else. Anyway, carry on. I'm going to look up what it was that I had yesterday, though.
But sometimes the chilaquiles are a good breakfast. Uh, but I forget what it's called. But I mean, it's eggs and salsa in a like a soup, and it is
Mhm.
really good.
I mean, it sounds like what's the word? Like an African dish, which is like eggs and tomato sauce.
Hmm.
What the heck? I can't remember the name of it. I've made it a bunch of times myself, and I don't remember what it's called. Super easy to make, though. Basically make up your
Hmm.
own. I mean, if you're slumming it, you can just open up a can of tomato sauce or something like that, and
Yeah.
put it in. But it's like poached eggs in,
Hmm.
but it's poached in there. Listener, write to me. What's the name of that? Eggs in. You know what? Hang on a second. I have an assistant. Let's ask my assistant. What's the name of the African dish with eggs in tomato sauce? Let's see if I get that right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Shakshuka. Yes,
Shakshuka.
shakshuka. Yep. Um, so it sounds kind of like what you're saying, but as opposed to like a tomato sauce, it's Mexican
Hmm.
style salsa. Now, what I had yesterday was, I think it's called chocoles,
Hmm.
which is like a little ground up. I don't know what it was exactly. It was like seeds or something, but I had it. It was very salty,
Hmm.
and I had it with my chips and guacamole,
Okay.
and they covered it around that, and I was like, oh, this is, I have no idea what this is, and I ate it. I was like, oh, it's very salty. It had a really good flavor, and I
Hmm.
asked the guy what it was, and he explained to me in rapid Spanish, so I caught like none of it.
Yeah.
But I think it was called chocoles,
Hmm.
and that's what I was thought when you said chile, whatever it was you just called.
Chilaquiles.
Yeah, which is not the same.
Hmm.
So
No, those are good
um,
too. But chilaquiles are kind of like everybody has the way that they did it or their mother did it, and
yes,
they're all good in their own way. You know.
yep, there you go. So yeah, I mean, and that's the nice thing, is the individuality, right? It's like you're not going to find this recipe anywhere else, right?
Mm-mm.
Or if you do, it's strictly coincidental.
Hmm.
So
So, music wise, I know you're. What are you? Have you seen anything there or done anything?
not, I mean, a couple of
I know you
guys
got a
out on
concert
this.
coming up, but
Right. No, just a couple of guys standing on the street, playing violin or something like that. So haven't really done any music scene yet. But yeah, the big concert. Of course, this is like, it's a rock concert. It's not,
yeah.
traditional anything that I'm going to. So have not done you from the Music City any sort of justice
Hmm.
on this, not on this trip.
So if you go, if you go to the market, you'll probably see some other things. There's pottery, there's black pottery, and it looks like it's hematite. It's not. I mean, it's black clay that's been fired and glazed,
Yep.
and that is real famous from the state of Oaxaca.
Okay.
So if you see any of that, it's typically considered Oaxacan pottery.
Okay.
And I mean, like if you wanted to have a nice souvenir, that's a nice souvenir, and it really says Mexico. You won't turn it over and find made in Taiwan.
Made in Taiwan, right?
But they also have
Uh,
a Oaxacan pottery that is green, It's kind of like a marbled green. It's a green glaze, and that one's pretty popular from Oaxaca. And
Okay.
I would say you'll probably find that in a market too. And you can get little things. And then what I like to get, sometimes I get people gifts, is those little wooden figures that are highly colored. Like they make chihuahuas and birds and dragons and I forget, that art has a name. The wood art.
Got me on that one. I think I know what you're talking about, but I definitely don't know the name for it.
Yeah. So Alebrije. Alebrije. Alebrije.
Okay. Yep. Don't know that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might get some little knickknack to put on a shelf, but I'm more leaning towards just consumable. If I see something that really strikes my fancy, then I'll probably get it. But I think that's part of, like, growing up with parents who just had to collect and hoard every single thing they had, like they could. I'm like, chocolate makes a really good souvenir, or maybe one of those shirts.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm leaning towards. Yeah, like something small like that, maybe one thing, sure.
Yeah.
That I could see.
Maybe those are Oaxacan, because every one of these say Oaxaca, and maybe that's a common Oaxacan art.
Flip it over and says "Made in Oaxaca."
Yeah. Well, so Elizabeth and I have a shelf in our bedroom, and we get one little thing like that to put on our shelf for the places we've been.
Okay.
So, like, we got things from Fiji and Seychelles and everywhere. Mexico, of course, got to have some Mexico stuff in there, and yeah. But we're not really collectors of anything either. But we like to have little thing for a reminder of where we've been.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, is like something small, but maybe it's going to be that shirt, right? So I don't know if you saw me, but while you were looking, or while you were talking, I looked up the closest place where I can buy, excuse me, salsa, guayabera, and apparently there's a guayabera shop about 700 feet away.
Oh, there you go.
So I have no excuse. So,
oh, that's fun. You go down Berlin Street, then London Street.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm home. That was the funny thing too. I was talking with someone early, just before this call, and she was asking me, like, could you live there? And I was like, it's a little too soon to tell. I definitely could acclimate to this, to the area and stuff, but I feel like I felt a little more at home in Berlin. Definitely here. One issue is, the technology, right? That was another thing too, is coming out of the airport. So apparently there's this citywide Wi-Fi. I forget what it's called. It's like, like CDMX Wi-Fi para todos, or Wi-Fi for everyone. Which, yes, I signed on to, but made sure my VPN was, connected right off the bat. But it wasn't like, as soon as I stepped foot out of the airport, it died.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get, I wasn't getting any reliable cell coverage either. So I was trying to call an Uber and I couldn't get it to work. So, like, to find out, I had to walk back into the airport, get spotty Wi-Fi, find out where the Uber was, walk back out, try to meet him, wait 5 minutes, he's not there, walk back into the airport, get Wi-Fi, and so I played that game for it. While I was there, I also downloaded, I think it's called Air Allo, which is a virtual, an eSIM provider. Tried that, no difference, because it had me roaming on the same cellular network.
Yeah.
But what was funny is, because now I have two active eSIMs on my phone. So I took my father's old phone number, and I'm still keeping that active for some time, just in case, you still get some text or some calls to it. And I noticed that when they both enrolled, my primary number was on one cell carrier and the secondary was on a different one.
Yeah.
But all the only thing I could get out of them was Verizon saying, "Hey, welcome to your new travel plan. We're going to be billing you this much," and
Yeah.
then nothing.
Yeah.
So I was like, not really cool. That that wasn't too thrilled about that. And a few times I've had the hotel Wi-Fi just cut out on me.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely the communications infrastructure feels a little bit subpar so far.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been manageable, right? So
Mm-hmm.
far I've been able to work around it.
Well, it's been where I go to in Oaxaca City and even in Huxlahuaca, I have really good cell phone signal the whole time I'm there. It's
Mhm,
LTE, it's not 5G,
mhm.
but
Yep.
if I'm sending a text or an email, it's no problem. But
Yep.
Mexico City is the largest geographic city in the world. So
Yeah, well, I mean, my hope was this is also the largest city in Mexico. Like, if anywhere is going to have good, communications infrastructure, I would think it would be here. You know, so maybe Cancun. I don't know.
yeah.
But anyway,
Well,
so
I
yeah,
suspect it's better right where you are than it is further out.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure about that. No
Hmm.
question. So, um, yeah. Well, what else? So the only other thing is, like, I've spent nearly the last 2 weeks recovering from my run,
Yeah.
and it's starting to feel like I think I'm at about 80-90% as of like yesterday.
Hmm.
I did my upper body strength routine yesterday, so my first
Hmm.
new program from my trainer. And I'm supposed to be on, my running coach said you're on rest for 2 weeks, and that was supposed to go through Sunday. But I messaged them this morning. I was like, hey, I'd really like to get a run in Mexico before I leave, because that's kind of my thing, is like, run every country that I'm in. So I
Hmm.
want to log a run. If I don't hear from them, I'll probably just do like a 5K or something.
Yeah.
But they've got a huge park that's about 2 miles from where I'm staying.
Hmm.
So, and it looks pretty big. So I'm thinking maybe I'll walk there, run around it, and then walk back, and that'll be my
Yeah.
my thing for tomorrow. So,
No, that'll be cool.
um, I have not tried public transportation in the city
Hmm.
yet so far. Haven't had to.
Hmm.
Um, Being a little hesitant about that. I don't know. It seems a little more imposing than it was in Berlin. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
Yeah. I've not done the buses. I have done taxis.
Hmm.
Taxis are I mean, fairly straightforward. So those haven't been big.
So I was warned that taxis, like there might be a lot of people posing as taxis.
Hmm.
So you have to make sure you get an official taxi, but also they said Uber is safer.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's differentiator is that the drivers prefer to be paid in cash here.
Okay.
And they said that sometimes it's not uncommon, if you select the default with credit card, they'll arrive, see that you want to pay with credit card, and then drive off.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that was interesting, because the first thing I had to do was get some cash, and of course, the first ATM I tried didn't work.
Mm-mm.
So I went to the next one. I think it was a Santander bank, and that one gave me my money.
Hmm.
They also offered to helpfully, offered to do the conversion and charge me the conversion fee,
Yeah.
which is just a scam. It's just a free charge on top of things, in addition to like the ATM surcharge.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, thank you. But then they gave me a couple of pretty big bills too. And when I'm walking around on the street and the average, I'm spending 20 to 50 pesos, I was not comfortable handing somebody a bill for 1,000.
Oh, yeah. That's typically what I like thousands and I like 500s.
I don't like those on the street though, when I'm buying like a cup of juice. So I went to the bank, and went to HSBC, oriented
Oh, yeah.
myself. I went into the bank. There's a little kiosk there. I looked at it, and I was like, figured out, was like, okay, what are you looking for? Are you a customer of HSBC? No. Do you want to talk about lending this or other services? Like other services, window service, check. Got my deli style number. I was
Mm-hmm.
next in line, waited, walked up to the guy, used Google Translate, asked the guy, can I get smaller bills? He said, no problem. He took them, ran them under the scanner to make sure they looked legit.
Yep.
Then stuffed them into, he counted all by hand and then he stuffed it into a little bill counter.
Mm-hmm.
Then he stuffed them back in the bill counter twice after turning it to show it to me to make sure. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I gave him the thumbs up. And now I'm walking around with a wad of much smaller, more palatable bills. So,
Yeah, so last time we have to pay for most of the things in cash. So hotels, travel, all that stuff, restaurants, all paid in cash because most don't take a credit card. Now more do than they used to. But we can go to Regions Bank and say, hey, I need X number of pesos, from the US dollars converted, I need all these in pesos. Well, I made a mistake and didn't tell the guy who was doing from the church to do it. I was like, we need everything in thousands. Don't want anything in smaller bills. And we got thousands, 500s, 200s, 100s, and 50s. And it made for a huge wad of bills.
Yeah. So why do you prefer, like, so if you're buying something small, why do you want to have a big bill? Because I always thought that looks a little conspicuous, and also it seems like it's a possible inconvenience. I mean, it's like giving somebody $100 bill to buy a cup of coffee in the States. Like that would.
Oh no, I mean, like if I were buying something for 20 pesos, I wouldn't want to give them 1,000 peso. I would want to have
Right.
as small as convenient. But just for my convenience of carry, I mean,
Got it.
500 seemed to be the nice equal, for what you're going to carry around. 500s or 200s. Everybody can break a 200.
Yeah.
They've got that in their pocket.
Yeah, sorry, had a sneeze alert there.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have a general. I'm just thinking about it. It's like I generally try not to give somebody more than like what 2 or 3 times what I'm buying. So like if I'm spending 20, I don't want to give them 100, and if I'm buying 100, I don't want to give them a 5. Something like that. I never really thought about it, but I have this subconscious. This is too big of a bill. And I don't know how much that is practical. Sometimes, I've done that back in the States. I was like, can you break a 50? And they'll look at me, sure, no problem. But I think that goes back to when I was a kid, when we would be catering, places with my folks.
Yeah.
And, I've got like 1s and 5s and someone gives me a 50. I'm like, I could break this, but, it's going to drain all my 1s or something, So.
Yeah, I think about that too. I mean, yeah, because I've had that happen on more than one occasion. You're like, too big. Get anything smaller?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't like being an inconvenience to somebody else. Especially when I'm there on the street. I don't want to make an awkward situation, and then
this guy's got so much money, I can't change it all.
And then there's that. That's the other thing too. Is like I've felt perfectly safe all around, this neighborhood and stuff. So I think I made the right spot. Even the only part where I wandered out, well, I didn't wander deliberately, went a little bit to the north to what I called like the auto zone. I got into this place where like every side, like on every corner and on both sides of the streets, it's all either a repair shop or a mechanic shop, or they're selling tires and rims. And I was just like, did they film a Fast and the Furious episode here? It seems expecting Vin Diesel to pop out any minute now.
Yeah. Well, you're a big city boy. So, I mean, whenever I'm in really any city, not just Mexico, any city, I am, constantly diligent. I'm always, who's around me? Am I alone? Are we, am I here? And are there 5 big guys over there looking at me? I don't
Oh,
want to
let's
be
go.
here.
I was gonna say, let's walk over and say hi.
Yeah. Big
Yeah, no,
city
I've been,
guy.
but I've been definitely like one of the biggest thing is like, not walking around with my phone in my back pocket.
Mm-mm.
And I've got my flip belt, so I have my credit cards and my ID and any big bills I stuff into my flip belt and tuck that under my shirt and under my pants.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got, a lot of smaller bills and my
Mm-hmm.
phone in my pockets.
Yeah.
And so, that way, plausible deniability. Here, take
There
it.
you go. Take it.
Take a wad of 20s
Mm-hmm.
and don't touch the thousands but I haven't been carrying the thousands because I got them broken. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't. I usually have I'm wearing a backpack, so
Mhm.
I've really got my wallet, my money in my backpack, stuffed in the bottom place where somebody can't just easily pickpocket it. I mean, these pickpockets
Yep.
are pretty slick, but and
Yeah.
then some cash in my pocket.
Well, that's what they say also, and I've seen several people do it too. Is you wear not a full-on backpack, but a smaller something like this,
Mm-hmm.
but you wear it up front.
Yeah.
So see a lot of that. So it's more like kangaroo style. So you're
Mm-hmm.
carrying your stuff there. So I just haven't. The only time I went out with a backpack though was when I needed to buy water. I wore
Mm-hmm.
that on my back.
Yeah.
I figured if
If
someone really wants to pickpocket 3 liters of water off of me, sure, go for it. That'll be fun.
they need that anyway. They need that more than me. I'll
I
go get
was going to say you probably need some exactly. But no, but if they could manage to do that and me not noticing it, then they deserve it, man. Kudos. Hats off. So
Well, cool. Well, I've got a nifty, but it's completely unrelated to what we've been talking today. Today's been a Mexico travel day.
well, hold that thought for just 1 second. Let me
You
just
got a
finish
nifty
up.
to replace it? Okay.
Well, I have a not so nifty.
Oh,
Here's
okay.
the thing. My freaking GL iNet router has not been reliable.
Huh.
It has anytime, and I had problems with it in Berlin and I had problems here. And all I can think is that if I don't have a rock solid internet connection, its Tailscale implementation is unreliable.
Hmm.
So I tested it extensively at home and I would route it behind the Tailscale network at home on my Fios connection. Worked beautifully every
Mm-hmm.
time. But anytime I've tried to get onto anytime where you have like the slightest hiccup or glitch in the ISP or hotel wireless
Mm-hmm.
or that slow AF Airbnb wireless that I was
Mm-hmm.
at or coffee shop, it's just been really intermittent and unreliable. And the only symptom is suddenly just there's no internet, and that's it. And
Question
that
is,
has been that's happening here too.
do you have it set up to go through your exit node at home, or do you have it just to go through Tailscale?
I tried it with both. I tried just enabling it and also, but the whole point is to use it with an exit node. Because if I
Mm-hmm.
don't have that, then there's no no purpose. I could. I could use it to get access back to my systems. But the whole point is I want to use this as a VPN to secure my connection.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed like when I flipped it and went to NordVPN instead, then it worked fine.
Hmm.
So it seemed to be, but again, also I could go to Tailscale on my iPad or on my phone, and that would work fine. But
Mm-hmm.
doing it behind the router was a little flaky.
Hmm.
So I'm just like, not sure. And sometimes it worked a little bit, and it would, but then like 20 minutes later, it's just like, I'm waiting, nothing's happening. So yeah, it's been kind
Well,
of.
we'll see, because I've got mine. I'll be traveling with it pretty soon. So,
Yeah,
but I also have the Tailscale app on my computer, on my phone, and
yeah.
on my iPad.
Yeah, it's a good backup. But Scott, when he was in Japan with his, seemed to run fine for him. He didn't have any of the issues. Now the thing is too is I don't know, you might have gotten the same version that he did, but he and I had slightly different versions.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I think they were similar, if not the same firmware versions and same version of the Tailscale app. So not sure
Mm-hmm.
why it would be any different. So I don't know.
Yeah, mine was the new one with the Wi-Fi 7. I thought that
Yeah,
just
mine's yeah, so you probably so all three of us probably have different versions then at this point.
yeah. So mine's got the Wi-Fi 7 and yeah, the Wi-Fi 7 travel router, dual band, because it'll do the it'll bond two Wi-Fi antenna signals together, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Don't have that. Can't say that I do. Maybe I should upgrade my router on Black Friday and see if it's any better. But frankly, I don't know. It's nice to have. And again, if I was going to be staying in one place for, I'd say more than a week or so, I would say it's probably worth it. But
mm-hmm.
in general, it doesn't really take much for me to turn the Tailscale app on my endpoint and go from there. So
No.
it's like doesn't work. And as long as it's me, like if I had a travel companion who was less tech savvy and whom I was more worried about, their devices getting hacked, then maybe I would have a little more incentive. But yeah.
So maybe I thought that just by connecting Tailscale, by just connecting the service, that
Mhm.
it was doing a VPN, but you were just going out some public IP that they had.
But no, it doesn't. To do that, you need to buy the Molvad VPN service on top of that because
And I
it's
do have.
not. Yeah, if you have that, then and that's enabled, then yes, you've got a VPN connection through Molvad as a result. But
Okay.
for me, all it does is it brokers a VPN connection back into my home, but it's a split tunnel. So anything, if I'm going into my home with Tailscale enabled, that is connected and secured. But if I'm just going to like Google, that's going right out, not routing through home. So it's not VPN or anything.
Maybe it's your exit node.
Except it works fine when I just do it on the app.
Mm.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something with the router. I just haven't figured out exactly what it is just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's the anti-nifty for today.
Anti-nifty. We've invented a new category, a not so nifty. Or maybe we've already had that category. I don't know. But tell me, what's your nifty about? It doesn't have to be related to Mexico.
So my nifty is Send. It is an application that works with WordPress,
Okay.
and it's a light version of Infusionsoft or HubSpot.
Okay. Not what I was thinking of.
Yeah. And so you can do email campaigns and you can build some basic workflows. Now you can't do big workflows, but you can go out to your website, and what I did is I created a form that if you go to my website, you go to newsletter, put in your email address, it enrolls you in a list, the newsletter list, and then it sends you a welcome email. Hey, thanks, Peter, for signing up. And here's the workflow, or here's, right now, the email I'm sending is not a good one. It's just a template email, but I would, test the workflow. And now you're in the list. And then I've got you in my newsletter list, and then I can create a workflow to send emails to that list, just like Infusionsoft, but in a very basic sense.
So I was thinking of Firefox Send, which was a service offered by the Mozilla Foundation to allow you to send up to it was basically a file transfer app, a free file transfer, like WeTransfer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something that was discontinued like 5 years ago.
Oh.
So not the same thing. So
well, the cool thing about it is that it works with Elementor.
Yep.
So your form that you build it with Elementor, and you go to the WordPress for your site, and there it adds just a link, in your WordPress site. So you just click that section, and and it populates a screen so you can work all right there in WordPress. And that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, Infusionsoft, and you're using this to sound to market Lavender and stuff, I'm assuming.
Yep. Market Lavender, and then my wife and I are working on a new podcast.
Do tell.
Well, it's in its infancy right now, but we're looking at building a combination travel and associated with Lavender podcast.
The Lavender Cast.
The Lavender Cast. But it'd be more focused on travel, but it will reference the lavender farms as well as fishing and travel.
All right. I see a trend here, so that's pretty cool. Cool. Well, on that note, why don't we wrap it? I was going to say we'll put a pin in this, but no, let's stick a fork in this, because I think this episode's pretty good. So listeners, if you want to get a hold of us and forgotten how you found us already, you can find us at blurringthelinespodcast.com. You can find Adam at rrlavenderfarm.com. And you can find me at Nikolaidis.com. And I think that's all I need to say. And with that, I think we should just push the big red button.
Manage recording.